Week 1 is here, baby. You got Texas A&M, you got Notre Dame in College Station. College game day is going to be there. This is one of those that just kind of gets the blood flowing a little bit. This is one of those games, obviously every game for Notre Dame is a non-conference game, but it's one of those non-conference games from Week 1 that you look at, and it kind of gets you all the way through to Week 1. Like you were looking at this game back in March, and it looked like it was just a little blimp on the horizon. Maybe one day we'll arrive there. Well, it's here. It's this week. It is Week 1. This is the On3 YouTube channel. This is the show, The Hard Count. It's college football, nothing but college football. So lock in here. Make sure you are subscribed. We have our game pick for you in this one on Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, live show. Do not miss it. Best way to make sure you don't miss it, first, being subscribed here. Second, making sure you're following me on the socials at JD Pickell on Instagram and on Twitter. So it's not as early a look as maybe it used to be, but it's Week 1. It's Sunday morning. Let's take an early look at this game. Here's my big question. Something I've been asking really for the better part of the last few months, not just for this game, but for Notre Dame overall, was like, how consistent is Riley Leonard able to be throwing the football? I've had my question marks around how consistent can he be throwing the ball downfield. Not saying he can't. I'm saying I need to see it in this game. Because as talented as Riley Leonard is, and he's uber talented, there's a reason the NFL draft loves this dude. My question is, which Riley Leonard shows up in this game? His first game in a new system, in one of the most difficult places to play in college football in College Station. This offense is built on being able to maximize playmakers. That sounds simplistic, but when you look at all the speed that Notre Dame now has on this roster and on this offense, Riley Leonard's job, as much as he has to be able to run the football as well himself and push the ball downfield, a lot of it too is like, hey, make your layups. Hit the quick game, hit the intermediate game. And there were games throughout Riley Leonard's career, granted with less talent on his roster, call a spade, but there have been games throughout his career where we'll see a really great showing from him, and then we'll see a pretty lackluster performance from him. Like last year, he goes and has a game against, I'm making sure I have this correct. Let's start with 2022. 4 games under 60% completion percentage in the 2022 season. Now, he progresses. Obviously, you get better year in and year out. In 2023, going back to what I was saying a second ago, the game against Northwestern, he goes 15 for 20. Great completion percentage. He's dialed in. Everything's flowing how it should. They play Notre Dame, and granted, Notre Dame defense is better than Northwestern. Let's just be honest there. He's 12 for 27, 44% completion percentage. Like, just the ups and downs to me, the all over the map is something that's concerned me. I'm not telling you he can't be vastly improved, but the consistency has got to be there in this game. Because as talent increases and the environment becomes more difficult, and it's your first year in the system, the margin for error starts to shrink. Because as much as Texas A&M hasn't done over the course of the last couple of years, it's a new offense with Colin Klein running the show, Connor Weigman at quarterback. I say all that to say they're going to be able to capitalize on your mistakes if you leave some out there for them. All right, now my other question within this game is, can Texas A&M capitalize on the perceived opportunities on the offensive line against Notre Dame? Like, it's been very well documented. Notre Dame lost their starting tackle for the season in Jagusaw. That's tough. It's extremely tough. It makes it even more tougher when you got Nick Scorton, the Big Ten's leading sacker from a season ago, on the other side of the football. And so when I say what's the ability to maximize your opportunities there, it's not so much a thing where, like, I'm curious, can Nick Scorton get a good push? Can he create some pressures? That's absolutely going to be a massive part of this game. But I'm talking like, hey, when it's 3rd and call it 5, 3rd and 6, you dial something up, and Nick Scorton's able to get off the edge and get a sack for a fumble, like a little strip sack action to totally change the game. Is it a situation where the offensive line is just a little leak for Notre Dame at that part? Or is it a situation where, like, you're gushing, you're taking on water, and we have a hard time even getting our play started? I think Mike Denbrock, full transparency, will have some answers for some perceived deficits on the offensive line at different points. But, like, that's going to be a very massive part of this game. The impact of the defensive line with the 12th man at their back, with Kyle Field on fire. That thing could get even more on fire. It could be borderline explosive if they're able to get some early momentum, get to Riley Leonard, throw him off base, and potentially create some situations now where you're a little bit gun-shy whenever you're back there. You think you're seeing one thing, it's the other. You're having that internal clock kind of speed up. That could lead to things really starting to roll downhill for A&M. All right, now, speaking of A&M on the offensive side of the football, I mentioned Connor Weigman. This is sort of cliche, but cliches oftentimes, man, they're cliche because they're true. Does your 5-star quarterback meet the moment? Because as much as we have spoken about Connor Weigman in a positive sense because we've had some small sample sizes that have been encouraging, this is going to be the biggest game, biggest stage, biggest spot, highest stakes of his entire career. Make no mistake about it. Like this is the game now where if you're Connor Weigman and you are going to be who everyone believes you are, you show up in this game. Especially in a situation where you're at home and you have a really talented, I believe, really good, as much as I question his consistency, really good quarterback in Riley Leonard. Can you go toe-to-toe with a guy who the NFL sees to be, based on last year's, power rankings, like a top 5 guy when it comes to the NFL draft? Like, that's going to be something that I think is a massive, massive part of this, especially because of what you lost in Ruben Owens being done for the year. You got to elevate. Now, A&M, they still have some dogs in that running back room. Do not get it twisted. They still have a lot of options, but I'm just saying, like, you lost some depth. You lost some juice on the ground there. So when you lose something at a certain position, you look at other positions to elevate even more. Now, I'm not telling you Connor Weigman's going to go out there and throw it 40 times a game, but I do think in this moment, he needs to elevate his teammates, step up, and be able to pick up whatever slack is left by having less bodies in that running back room. And in this spot, too, where you play, I believe, a really good Notre Dame defense, like you're going to have to be on your P's and Q's. They're going to try and mix it up. They're going to bring pressure. They're going to have a lot of guys that can just, quite frankly, play man coverage with Benjamin Morrison and what he's going to bring to the table. You have to take care of the football, make good decisions, all the cliches in the world. You can't let the moment impact you. If he can do that, A&M's going to be in good shape. Do you put the pressure on the transfer quarterback in his first year in the system, on the road? Can you force them to have to be the ones to answer scores? Now, the run game is obviously going to be a massive part of helping with Connor Weigman. I'm not shying away from that. The defense has their part to play. But I do think if you're Connor Weigman, this is the moment you elevate, you take your team to where a lot of people nationally have believed maybe they could have been in previous years. So I'm excited for this one, man. A&M, Notre Dame in College Station. It's the college game day game. It's going to be electric. We're so back. We're so back. Make sure you subscribe right here to the On3 YouTube channel. Follow me on the socials at JD Piquel, Twitter, and on Instagram. Again, we'll have our pick for you on this game on Tuesday. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.